We are approaching 1 million subscribers on our YouTube channel. Can't believe we're even close to this. Can't thank you guys enough. If you haven't already, please go hit that subscribe button. Lots of fun NBA content coming your way. I want to actually ask you about this because I want to give you a fair shake, which I feel like, I don't know if you got it in Dallas, but I think it's pertinent to point out the fact that you came off an ACL injury, sat out a season, played your first year in Dallas, and then had a meniscus tear in the playoffs in the bubble. Missed the first 9 games of the season. They managed your workload that year. I know I was there towards the end of the year where you weren't playing back-to-backs at times. Beyond just the health, like why do you think that it didn't work in Dallas? I mean, it seems like you're in a place of self-reflection where you are now in your career.
Definitely. It's a mix of many things. But I think it's a big mix of things, it's a big mix of things. Maturity for sure, again, I'm talking about what I could have done better, not just, it's many things. Majority on my part for sure. And then I wasn't that much into analytics and numbers. Like if somebody, I think at that stage of my career presented it to me the right way and said, this is what we need to do. This is what we need from you. You're going to be way more effective doing this. Like kind of explain it to me better. I think that would have made a difference a little bit. Because, there's even now still with some players like, I don't want to see those numbers. Like this is not, this is not the computer game or something. So, again, it's, I can go like, I don't know how deep I want to go into it and remember everything, but I could have done some things better, and it didn't come out the way like all of us envisioned, maybe, but definitely learned a lot from that.
Do you feel like there was a little bit of a young bull with you, specifically with like the Luka dynamic? Is that fair?
Young bull,
like
what does that mean?
Like a pissing contest.
Early on, for sure.
Yeah.
Early on, for sure. But I think we both tried to make it work, It's just, I think communication, like maturity, communication on both of our parts should have been better. And yeah,
I was only there 2 months and I only had my personal observations, but I was thinking about on the flight here today, I was thinking about, we were playing a game in Memphis and Rick called a timeout and Luka sat down. We had the 5 seats on the floor and Luka sat down on one of the seats and was doing the Luka thing, that he does, where he's mumbling a bunch of words, and it's clearly out of anger. We don't really know what he's saying, but he's saying things. And Rick takes him out of the game, and Luka reacts or whatever, and he's now like 10 feet away, and Rick was like, "Would you guys stop being babies?" And you go, "Why don't you tell Luka to stop being a baby?" And Rick goes, "Hey, Luka, stop being a baby." And I was like, okay, all right. Yeah, I like it. There's something there.
Yeah.
I think what's interesting about your dynamic, whatever it was with Luka, again, I don't have much insight into it, but whatever it was, I just think it's so common in the NBA.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I watched it. I lived it on multiple teams, specifically like with young players. I had a vet tell me the other day, talking about why he picked a certain team in free agency to take less money and go try to win. And he's like, oh, it's because the 2 stars fucked with each other. They actually liked each other. But these guys were older. They're late in their careers. Winning is the only thing that really they haven't done yet. And I just think it's like a natural thing. How did not only just like Luka, but like being a rookie, second-year guy playing with Melo, how did all that prepare you for coming into this situation with Jayson and Jalen, and you obviously didn't know Drew was going to get traded when you got traded here, but to an extent, Drew as well.
Good question. It's I think it has to be clear, like what the roles are, like who, because you don't want to. Again, like it's important to like have a good dynamic between you, off the court and on the court. But again, honestly, it's not that hard. It's not that hard when you're like past a certain age. I think it's when you're young, you just, like, oh, I'm gonna prove this, or I'm gonna like. The older you get, you're like, I just want to win, like whatever we need, like. Or coach is not playing me. Okay, he probably thinks I can't help this team right now. It's like it's not that complicated. We just complicated, and there's some like ego involved and all that. But honestly, it's just have to make it simple, and that's it.
All right, you brought up the Clippers series in 21. I think we talked about this during that series, but I just Rick basically told you to go stand in the corner, and this wasn't going to be your series. I think I told you this. I had a similar series my last year with LA. We play game 1 in LA against the Utah Jazz. They're top blocking me from half court on. Rudy Gobert's in this massive drop off DeAndre. So like there's nowhere for me to cut to. Like it's just not going to work, right? And Doc's after game 1 in the film session is like, JJ, this is not your series. Your role this series is to go stand in the corner. So I think I averaged like 6 points for the series. Had some awful shooting nights. 2 for 8, 3 for 7, whatever it wasn't. And I was really really angry about, not even at Doc. I just was like angry during it, after it. And like a similar situation happened in that Clippers series. And I like was in street clothes. So there's nothing I could do to really help you, but I just remember feeling a deep sense of empathy for what you were going through. What were your sort of emotions in that series? And then even just after the fact and sort of reflecting on that season and that series?
Yeah, that's no, honestly, like reflecting back on it, I just should have just said, okay, this is what you want. Like I will do it like that to the best of my ability. But at that point, still, I was a little bit young and I was like doing it, how you say, like out of spite, like, oh, on purpose, I will not move from this corner. Like that little bit of mindset, and it was not correct. Like, but of course I played hard and I like gave everything on defense, but a little bit of that was like creeping up on me, that kind of feeling. And it's not a good feeling to play with. And,
no,
and you can of course find 1,000 reasons or 1,000 excuses and blame it on something else. But, I could have done a better job that series, and that's it. And maybe
I feel the same way. I was like, all right, it's not my series offensively. Like I gotta go lock up Joe Ingles. I gotta do a better job of being disruptive on a George Hill pick and roll. Like I gotta figure out a way to actually like help the team.
Yeah, exactly.
When you're in the middle of it, though,
it's tough. It's tough. It's easier to talk about it now.
Like I just want plays to be ran for me, but no, just go stand in the corner.